smoke and lights. I was like turning the steering wheel, and it looked all like super cool. So it's a bummer I didn't actually get a copy of that video, but yeah, no, that's an April Fool's joke, you know. So
did you really tag the Nürburgring?
That wasn't me, and I was asleep in bed when that went down. And I know who did it now. It was 3 friends of mine, really good friends of mine now, but it was 3 like fans from Berlin that, you know, they knew that I was racing. Because like think about like, you know, I ran a BMW my whole life, right? I ran that one WRC Mexico, that one that I brought, even though the Baja Pig's pretty ugly, it's the first VIN numbered BMW in the history of the Baja 1000. Like, sure, all German Motorsports entered some tube frame looking BMWs, but they didn't have a production number on there. They didn't have working doors. Like, I had a working door unibody chassis with a VIN number. It's got plates on it, but there's no way I'll run it around the States. Anyway, so in Germany, like, there's a lot of BMW guys who lost their mind when they saw I was doing this stuff. And when they saw that I was coming over the Nürburgring to run the 6-hour race, VLN qualification race for the 24 hours of the Nürburgring, they showed up and camped out up at the carousel and tagged the racetrack with so much paint that it was like, it scared the officials, and the race nearly got like delayed because they sent a pressure washing truck up there. So, and naturally I'd put Build Race Party stickers all over the race car. So we're on the grid, and the officials who are going nuts over this huge tag up there see the logo and realize it's the same one. And if it weren't for Rob Holland and all the respect that he had at the Nürburgring, because he has a house shop there, and he's like, no, Bill was across the hallway from me the whole night. Like, we slept in the same house, like, you know. And
so the short story here is you had rogue.
I didn't do it.
Rogue fans that snuck in and painted your logo across the asphalt on a globally famous racetrack at an event where
the best part is, that year was when everyone modeled it for all the video games. So, like, if you go to iRacing or you go to Gran Turismo or any of the racing games that have the ring in it, my logo is, like, perfect right there. And then if you look at any of the live feeds, the helicopter always covers, like, the carousel. So they're always flying over the carousel, and the logo is, like, there clear as day. Like, when Von Gittin drifted the ring, you can see, like, the logo in one of his shots as he's, like, kind of drifting across it. Like, you know, I mean, it's not the right way to do it. There's a history of tagging the Nürburgring, but you do it with chalk. So the night before the 24-hour, people go out there and tag the whole track with tons of stuff. Lots of penises, too. The Germans love their penises. It's really weird. The first lap of the track, there's just, like, penises all over the downhill from the carousel. I swear. I mean, I'm not making it up. It's, like, so weird that I'm like, what's wrong with – why would they do that? And my friend's like, it's the Germans. You know. Anyway, so, yeah, you're supposed to do it with chalk because if it rains, the chalk just disintegrates, whereas they covered it with so much thick paint that, you know, we all know that, like, the stripes on the roads or racetracks, it gets wet, man. There's no traction there. Yeah, so that's why they tried to pressure wash it off, and, you know, all that. But anyway, so, yeah, no, I didn't do that, but it's definitely Build Race Party slapped in the ring. And lots of fun stuff's been tagged. Supposedly the sign of the equator in, like, Kenya or something like that. Some kid said he stuck one in a cargo container that went up to the space station, that he had an extra couple of grams of weight, and put one in with the other stickers on one of the containers that went up there to the thing. And, you know, BMW race car haulers have stickers in the closets and stuff. They're all over the place, man. I printed like 110,000 stickers.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just give them out in stacks. Like, if I was racing, I'd put like 1,000 on the hood, and anyone could grab whatever they wanted. It was fun, you know?
So...
Yeah, you're like, okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, no, I know where we're going. We're going to Baja because this is the Baja Sessions, and okay, cool. Baja's around the corner. And I think I heard you say you're coming, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm still in Chicago, and the plan was to drive my M3 out. I bought like a dirt bike, and the dirt bike's in pieces in the trunk, and I was going to drive that out and rip around the dirt bike. Now I'm thinking I'm just going to get on a plane, take the Race Car Santa Claus truck down to like maybe a set of Mag 7 pits somewhere and just offer free welding. Once like the pros have been like, no, this won't work, I'd be like, yo, you guys want to finish the race? I'll make it. I'll stick it. But it's going to be ugly. Like, I don't want to touch anyone's nice race car until they've decided they don't care anymore. And then I'll try to fix it kind of concept. Like, go to maybe like, I don't know, somewhere by the summit or somewhere it gets like gnarly near the end, and just put a big sign, a big sheet on the side that says free welding. So see how many cars I can fix.
I love the idea, and I'm assuming that you'll do it. But here's the irony of it for listeners. Again, today is Sunday. We're recording this. The Baja 1000 starts in Baja next Friday.
Thursday's contingent. Yeah.
So you're still kind of up in the air whether you're coming or not.
Yeah. Well, there's like some stuff going on with my mom, so I'm like here at her house.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why that's all delayed and whatever. But I have something like 200,000 air miles, so like it's not a big deal for me to jump on a plane. Right. And land in San Diego. The thing's all in storage in like San Marcos, and it's all ready to rock. I just fire the thing up and head south. So, and actually the Baja Pig's fully functioning and works and run. I did like 8 hours of testing at King of the Hammers, which is basically like see if I could flip it over and destroy it out in the desert. And like nothing broke, man. So it's a bummer, the thing didn't run more. But so yeah.
And then I saw a note that you got it for sale.
Yeah, it's it's a long story, more than we probably want to get into on this, but it's like, as a grassroots guy trying to run the longest point-to-point race in the world, through some of the toughest terrain in the world, against some like huge teams where guys get like jets wrapped and painted in the color of their race cars so they can fly all night and chase helicopters and sat phones. And there's definitely a passion for the grassroots down there with like the class 11s and whatnot, but it's still, $50-60 million trophy trucks. It's still another 40 to 60, spec trophy trucks at $500,000 each. And, people make fun of my rig, and the people that were helping me, weren't really good friends and just kind of sabotaged my whole program. And when you start to look around, you realize like no one really wants you there. It kind of takes the heart out of it for you. And
I got to tell you that I hate to hear you say that, because it's a culture and an industry that I grew up in.
It's different.
Well,
now.
I know,
someone else owns Score, right? Like, dude. Okay, so back to the stories, right? Like Sal Fish, like guy was awesome. I only got to really meet him once on the start line. He thought we were illegally entering the race, so we showed up in 2011. It was just me and my co-driver and a friend. We spent like $1,000 beyond the entry fee to race that year. And we got down there like right before the race. We made it to like tech as they closed, got the car signed off, and we forgot to go to registration and check in. And like Facebook told us what our car number was, so we put that on the side of the car, and we just forgot to go check in. And we didn't realize you like sign waivers, like you're just ripping through raw desert in Baja, like. And they realized, like, what's a waiver going to do? So, we get up to the start line. Sal's like, all right, just got to see your wristbands and you're good to go. And I'm like, we don't have any wristbands. And he like grabs me by the fire suit. He's like, you trying to run my race for free? I'm like, no, dude, we paid with credit card. Like, you're fully paid. We just didn't go to the check-in thing. And he's like, well, what about your team? They got to check in too. And I'm like, we don't have a team. We left a friend at the bar next to the headquarters. He's just going to go over and check the GPS, and we don't move for like 4 hours. He's going to try to come look for us. And he's like, that's your chase? I'm like, well, we got 2 bedrolls and 2 sleeping bags and a big tarp to make a tent out of. And I got a big bottle of tequila duct taped to the roll cage. Is that? And I'm like, it's legal to race with booze, right? He looks at me, hands me his card. He goes, man. And then he steps back and he's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a BMW. And he's like, oh my God. Hands me his card. He's like, please have lunch with me. And Sal, if you're out there, like, give me a call, because I put the card in my fire suit. When I got done, it was just like a white piece of paper.
I'll get you Sal's phone numbers.
No, I'm just teasing.
Okay,
It's just one of those things. But you got to understand, I'm a kid from Chicago. I grew up in the suburbs. My dad was a lawyer. He's a lawyer from Maine, so taught me if I wanted to do anything in life, I had to learn to do it with my own hands. But he was still a lawyer and wanted me to stay in finance. And dude, there's no trucks around here, man. There's no buggies, there's no UTVs, there's no desert racers. So when I built that thing, I had never even seen a desert race or a trophy truck or anything off road. We just watched Dust to Glory like 20 times.
My wife was in it. My wife was part of the girls' team. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's okay. That's wild. I know that section of reviews. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that part. Well, Dust to Glory makes it look like there's people everywhere. And it turns out, like, an hour into the thing, you don't see anyone for, like, right. Like, they make it look like there's helicopters and cops pulling over trophy trucks and, like, pits everywhere. And, like, there's no way. It's so remote. And no one tells you how cold it is. Like, I've always been down to Cabo. It's like 80 degrees. It was like 80 degrees in Ensenada. And in 11, we went over the summit in that thing, and I'm like, this isn't even a race course, dude. What's up with all these
survival?
rocks?
Yep.
Yeah, and like we got stuck in the rocks. I'm in like 5th gear smoking tires. Like we nearly bounced off the back side of that thing. Like we were genuinely scared, you know. And when I built the thing, I didn't even know how to build it. And we were at SEMA. I had someone go measure a trophy truck in the Bilstein booth so we could figure out what our track was. I'm like, even if our tires aren't the same size, I want to be in their ruts. If I have to spend like 10 hours washing it out of ruts, like a water skier on the back of a wake of a boat, like falling in and out of the wake, I'm like, yeah, there's just no way.
That's
so,
what the quad guys used to have to deal with. The guys that race quads. That was
yeah, exactly. That would drive me insane.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that, you know, or I don't want to do that. So like, you know, you got to realize just how little we knew about what we were getting into, you know, and also our radios never worked. Like they'd work when we test them, and then we go like 100 yards and they didn't work. And I finally sent them back to PCI, and they're like, you have the weirdest short in your radio. It works for like a half second, cuts out. I'm like, yeah, great, thanks. So we were trying. It was just a mess, man. You know, but,
I got to tell you that listening to, I mean, like I said, I was very fortunate to grow up in the industry and around it, doing it not always the right way, because we didn't always have the money to do it, you know, the way the big teams did it. But I got to witness a lot of that and is in the middle of it. But I will say,
and it sounds like you had a core group of friends and family.
Yeah, and they go all the way back to the beginning. And so I had Bruce Myers on this show last year.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And so, yes, it has progressed into being something that is really incredible and phenomenal in a lot of ways. But at its roots, Bruce Myers didn't know where the hell he was going either. You know what I mean? Like that sense of adventure is what started.
Dude.
Yeah.
No, he got like lost. He went to the other side of the peninsula and had to come all the way back and like came into some town and borrowed gas from some lady and kept going. Yeah, I mean, okay, look, I've never seen, you know, Baja and all that sort of stuff, but I've read some cool books. I got something called The Off-Road Racer, 1976 by Norman
book.
T. Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah, I got this one, and then I got the little white paperback on the guys running the Volkswagen. And anyway, 7 years from start to finish. By Rod Koch, Koch. On the covers of 1971 Baja 1000, author on his way to a third-place finish. So I read these two books, so I kind of know about some of the early stuff, you know, but it's a lot different now. When I mean a lot different is like I used to be able to go down there with the pig and pay like $1,500 or something to enter the 1,000.
And now so it's almost 4,000, yeah.
It's like $4,000. So like, you know, I go down there with my half-built, non-tested machine, and I break something in the first 100 miles, and I spent $4,000.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like $1,500. Like that's like, you know, a good weekend of drinking in Cabo, and you know what I mean, though.
Yeah. So I got to ask you, there's a gentleman, a Brit by the name of Graham McIntosh. Do you know him? He was on the podcast here a couple of weeks ago. In 1983, and the reason I'm asking, I think you'll identify with him in a little bit different way. In 1983, he got a wild hair up his butt, and he walked around the peninsula, circumnavigated the peninsula on foot from 1983 to 1985.
Dude, I'm a ginger, man. I'm Irish. I'm made for like fog and Guinness. Like that's the only place I die is in the desert. So like,
well, no, I'll tell
Baja's you, I'm not made for Baja, dude. I have to hide.
What made me think of it was just in talking about the ruggedness of and the difficulty of racing in the Baja 1000, and then harking back to the whole Bruce Myers era of when guys were men, and this guy Graham, I'm telling you,
Peter
man.
Brock, dude. Peter Brock with the Dotsons.
Yeah.
So wait, you know that when I was building the car, I didn't even know the Class 6 was gone.
Right.
Like I thought there was still a class for like kind of like production cars that you could kind of modify and shit. I mean, I saw the VWs. I saw some other trucks that looked pretty stock with the doors that worked. You know, I didn't realize they'd made it all pro and gotten rid of like the innovative classes that allow guys like me to just go down there and have fun, and which is now sportsmen. But yeah, like $4,000 for sportsmen, like they need to change that, man.
Well,
they're kicking all the young guys and all the guys just want to go have fun with their buddies like it was back in the 70s out of the race.
You've been to Nora, right? Or have you?
Again, no, because it's like $4,000 to enter.
It is expensive, yes.
And then you got 5 nights of hotels and stuff, and it's like this, and it's kind of like it's cool and it's awesome and it looks like a really good time. My friends have all done it, and